Welcome back, friends and nerds. Bannick13 here, and what you just saw was a quick video on the Firebird's Finery set for the wizard, and I'll be going through the build in this video right now for you all. Now this build has a lot of possible variations and skill sets and lots of things that you can change, items. There's a lot of things you can do to experiment with this build. What I've done is come up with what I think is the best damage output, and it's definitely doesn't change the recommended playstyle, which you have to always attack big packs of enemies and elites. Otherwise, as a single target damage dealer, this build sucks. Alright, you got to make sure there's a lot of enemies around you. The bigger the packs, the more damage you do, and if there's an elite pack, then you do 600% increased damage. But we'll get all into that in a second. What we're going to start with is our skills. We want to use Disintegrate with Convergence. That'll be our primary damage dealer. Meteor with Meteor Shower, Explosive Blast with Chain Reaction, Teleport with Wormhole, which allows us to teleport a second time if we teleport within seconds, Magic Weapon with Force Weapon for extra damage, Ice Armor with Crystallize for survivability, and passives will be using Unwavering Will, Illusionist, Audacity, and Blur. Now, getting right into gear, I've got 5 pieces of the 6 equipped. Reason being, I've got the Ring of Royal Grandeur in Canai's Cube, so I get the 6-piece set bonus. Let's go through the bonuses real quick. The first set bonus for 2 items is when you die, a meteor falls from the sky and revives you. This effect has a 60-second cooldown. So any time you take fatal damage, you're actually revived before you actually die. So it doesn't count as a death, and a big meteor strikes that area. So if there's a big pack of enemies, it'll hit them quite hard. So this is quite handy. Every minute we pretty much get a free lifesaver. The 4th set bonus is dealing fire damage causes the enemy to take the same amount of damage over 3 seconds, stacking up to 3000% weapon damage as fire per second. After reaching 3000% damage per second, the enemy will burn until they die. So once we do 3000 weapon damage to an enemy, they'll continue burning until they die. Alright, keep that in mind. The 6th set bonus is your damage is increased by 25% for each enemy that is burning. So like I mentioned, the more enemies that we have in a pack, the better. The more damage we do, it just keeps multiplying. Alright, 25% for each enemy that is burning. It'll just keep multiplying by 25%. Elites that are burning increase your damage by 600%. You can only have 1 elite damage bonus at a time. So obviously if there's 2 or 3 elite packs around, we can make them all burn, but we won't get 1800% damage. We'll get just the 600. Alright, it doesn't stack, but 600% damage is huge. You will slice through things like butter. So obviously this will manipulate your play to try and make sure you keep elites alive for as long as possible, so you can go and kill everything else. Alright, that's basically our set bonuses, and I've got the helm, the shoulders, the gloves, the pants, and the boots equipped. I've got the etched sigil, which this is awesome. This is the reason I'm not actually carrying a 6th item. I've got the Firebird's eye that I could equip if I wanted to. Like I said, you can vary a lot of things around, move a few items around, and you can have different things in Canai's Cube. Just do whatever suits you. This is what I think is the best option, but if you come up with something better, then let me know in the comments and I'll test it out myself. But I have tested out most possibilities. Now with the etched sigil, your Disintegrate actually will activate your Explosive Blast and your Meteor, like so. So we don't need to even activate those 2. They will activate automatically and they won't cost any resource at all, which is very, very handy. Now what we have equipped in the main hand is Death Wish. Now Death Wish increases our Disintegrate damage by 33%, so definitely very handy there. Our chest piece, we've got the Aquila Cuirass. Now the Aquila Cuirass decreases damage taken by 50% if we're above 93% resource. Now as you can see, I'm channeling Disintegrate and my resource isn't going down at all. I could do this all day long. And the reason we can do this all day long is because we've got this belt. Hergbrash's Binding, so reduces the arcane power cost of Arcane Torrent, Disintegrate and Ray of Frost by 56%. So I can disintegrate pretty much all day long, and you'll never notice that your arcane power actually starts to decrease. It just won't happen. So we've got the belt. The braces that we want are Ashnagar's Blood Braces. So Ashnagar Blood Braces gives you a 76% potency boost to your shield. Now, I believe this can go up to 100%. This, I've got a 76%er. You can get an increase to the potency of your shields by 100% if you just keep rolling this legendary over and over again. You definitely will get it, and it's definitely very, very handy because survivability is so important for us wizards. We've got the Traveler's Pledge and the Compass Rose, which you'll know it as the Endless Walk set. This is very important because with these two items equipped, the set bonus is, while moving, damage taken is reduced by up to 50%. Very, very handy for a wizard. And while standing still, which we will be as we're channeling Disintegrate, damage dealt is increased by up to 100%. Alright, so as we're here channeling Disintegrate standing still, we're also activating Explosive Blast, we're also activating Meteor as we're disintegrating, and that's all 100% damage increase. Alright, so very, very, very handy. Make sure that you have your Endless Walk set equipped. The gems we'll be using, number one, is the Esoteric Alteration. This definitely gives us a huge damage reduction buff, so definitely want that equipped. I've also got the Molten Wild Beast Gizzard equipped, again for extra survivability. If you guys haven't got any issues with surviving, then you can swap this out for Bane of the Stricken or something else that might suit you. Definitely if you're doing Greater Rifts, you'll definitely want a Bane of the Stricken, but I don't like to die easy, so I definitely want my survivability up there, and I find this works very, very well. And we've also got Bane of the Trapped inside our Halo of our Lease, which I'll get to in a second, which is our second ring. So Bane of the Trapped, we will be slowing down a lot of enemies, and that is because of the Halo of our Lease. Now the Halo of our Lease, what it does is your ice armor now reduces damage from melee attacks by 56% and automatically casts Frost Nova whenever you take 10% of your life in damage. So Frost Nova is cast and that freezes all the enemies around us, so they're slowed, they're stunned, and Bane of the Trapped comes into play. We do extra damage. So as far as rolling stats for your items, we definitely want 15% increased disintegrate damage for our boots and our helm, and everything else, make sure that you put in crit damage and crit chance wherever possible, because this set is very, very reliant on your crit chance and crit damage. Alright, wherever you can possibly put it in, make sure you do. You cannot have enough. So I think I've covered off all of our equipped gear. Let's go into Canai's Cube, which I briefly mentioned. What I've got in Canai's Cube is weapon, Wand of Woe. So what the Wand of Woe does is it gives you 3 additional explosive blasts when explosive blast is triggered. So this gives us more, as you can see, boom, 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 boom. More blast, that means more enemies that are around us cop more damage, alright? So, I mean, I love Wand of Woe. You don't have to have Wand of Woe, but I just think this gives us that boost to our damage. It's the most useful one, unless you have maybe a furnace. You can sort of muck around with that. I don't have a furnace right now, so I haven't been able to test that out, so I've gone with Wand of Woe, and I think it's pretty good. Armor, we want Mantle of Channeling. Now what the Mantle of Channeling does, it's a shoulder piece, and it reduces our damage taken by 25% as we're casting Disintegrate. So once again, Disintegrate, everything relates to Disintegrate, so it's definitely our most important skill. And jewelry, like I mentioned, Ring of Royal Grandeur, so we can have that 6 set bonus. The other thing I'll mention is Paragon Points, very self-explanatory. Make sure that we have movement speed at a total of 25%, which is the cap. So I've got that here, 15 plus 10% in my items, and everything else, slam it into intelligence. Offense, definitely start with critical hit chance and critical hit damage, depending on how many Paragon Points you have to spend. Then go into your attack speed and cooldown reduction. Defense, will start with resist all, armor, life, and then life regeneration. Utility, we want area damage, resource cost reduction, life on hit, and then lastly, the unimportant gold find. So I believe that pretty much covers everything. We've gone through gear, we've gone through Paragon Points, Canoi's Cube. There's nothing else really I can tell you except for give it a go for yourself. See what you think of this build. You'll either love it or you hate it. It depends on your playstyle, it really does. If you're someone that likes moving around really quick and you don't mind just targeting big packs of enemies and keeping your elites up burning instead of killing them straight away, then this build might be for you. If not, then maybe look for something else. But I'll be covering off all the other builds as we go. This is the first build set. This is the first set that I've covered off as a wizard, and I'll be definitely doing the set dungeon following this video, so stay tuned for that as well. Make sure you come back and check that out. Otherwise, give this a go, tell me what you think, and I'll definitely be back with the set dungeon video and some other wizard builds that I'm going to experiment with. Until then, take it easy.